So, good evening, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Alice and Pete show. Tonight, we're going to talk about one of the 5 love languages, being the giving and receiving of gifts. For those of you who are not familiar with the 5 love languages, where have you been for the last month?
Where have you been? But also, come join. It's revolutionary.
Exactly.
It's simple and effective.
As I always say, take your clothes off and join in. We've got a packed show for you.
I'm going to keep keeping mine on, so feel free to keep them on as well.
Certainly keep mine on. So, 5 love languages. As a quick recap, test of memory. How many can you remember? If you go from the top, I'll fill in any that you miss.
Okay. So we've got words of affirmation. We've got physical touch. What else have we got?
We've got quality time. It's always a good one. And
we've got...
I can't remember. Which ones have we got now? Acts of service, which we did last week, I think, didn't we? Is that
we
5?
Did. And this week, receiving gifts. Quite often it's giving and receiving of gifts, but we'll explain that.
Right.
So this love language of receiving gifts comes under quite a lot of scrutiny because people can associate it with being greedy, wanting gifts. But actually, if we just take a deeper delve into it, it's not that at all. It's representations, visual symbols of love.
Okay.
And actually, it's sentimental. It's not how much the gift is worth financially. It's how personal it is and what it means. So someone that holds receiving and giving of gifts as a love language will have tangible objects that remind them of love, make them think of their love, but take them back to a place quite often. Might be a date, for example. I think I said this to you once, Pete. It's if you had a first few dates with a partner and you pick up a memento from, say, a sports game. It could be a key ring, could be a magnet.
Nothing says I love you like a fridge magnet. Yeah.
Nothing says I love you like a fridge magnet. That should be some sort of line. But if someone puts them up and keeps it around, and it's a reminder to them of a great time of love, and quite often people do have reminders around their house. You have got people that also keep them in boxes, and every so often will take the box from under their bed and go and look at, tickets and receipts and things. But again, it's that's still symbols of love.
And it's true that if you buy girls flowers, they're bound to love you, aren't they? So it does work.
Well, if your love language is receiving gifts, it will definitely work. Some people might not like to receive gifts and find actually it doesn't mean anything to them. Their love language is something different. And quite often you'll be able to find this, firstly, if they throw the flowers back in your face. Also, why are you giving them the flowers? We'll come back to that. But if they're embarrassed, if they feel awkward, if they don't like receiving the gift, that's probably quite a big indicator that that's not your partner's love language. But also gifts, as you said, the flowers aren't always going to be helpful, even if the person's love language is gifts, to be given when you've done something bad.
Yeah, because flowers are a difficult one because you can't win. Because the moment you give them flowers, it's like, all right, what have you done, or what are you about to, what are you about to do? And by the way, welcome, Paul. Paul's language is acts of service. Great, we talked about acts of service. If you'd like to, if it's relatively clean, you might want to post what your favourite act of service is. below that. If not, then I fully understand. We all have our own ways of providing service. Gifts is complicated, isn't it? Because you can't actually buy someone's love, but you can buy them gifts to express your love.
Bang on, absolutely correct. And the giving of gifts, as you said, with the flowers, to the worry that, oh, I've done something wrong or I'm about to do something wrong. It's not about that at all. It's about bringing a gift or finding the bread that your partner likes and picking it up for them after work. This is just an example. It's normally nothing to do, as I said before, with the monetary value, and off the cuff, so not for an event, normally means more.
Mm-hmm. So rather than just buying out of obligation because it happens to be Christmas, or I suppose wedding anniversaries and anniversaries generally are significant, but it's the thought. It really is the thought that counts, isn't it?
Definitely the thought that counts. And your point with anniversaries, though, is if your partner does hold the love language of gifts, don't forget their anniversary. Maybe don't forget their birthday. And buy them a gift.
Yeah, we'll take it from a guy who was married for 10 years. The ABCs, anniversaries, birthdays, and Christmases are very special events. it's the only time you get to. Well, no, we won't go down that route. But yeah, you should never forget something, but you should also not conflate spending vast amounts of money or correlating the amount of money that you spend with the amount of love or self-worth that you have, or the love that you've got for the person. And that's why Christmas, I think, is a bummer, because you see people wandering around shopping centres buying expensive stuff just because it's Christmas for people who don't particularly want to buy the presents for. It means nothing. It's been commercialised, it's been hijacked by the Madison Avenue madmen types, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why this love language, as we said at the beginning, gets a little bit of a bad rep, because we're in such consumer-driven society that Christmases and even anything, we're in this race of what can we have? What do people have? How much money do we earn? And so we've become quite greedy. Collectively, I'm not talking about individuals. So people assume, especially when their love language isn't gifts, that someone that possesses this love language is greedy. They're not. They just like the sentimental value in things and can tangibly want to see their love, which is actually quite nice.
Yeah, I think we talked earlier about it kind of being like an anchor. So you can project the love into the gift, whether it's a fridge magnet or a Ferrari. It's yeah, or a fridge magnet of a Ferrari.
Maybe of a Ferrari.
It's tangible, isn't it, as opposed to something which is more abstract. So does that mean people whose love language is gifts are not capable of abstract thought and are therefore less intelligent?
Oof.
And probably lesser value people, even? No,
I don't believe that possesses less intelligent people. I mean, I wonder what people would say if anyone listening. That's the love language of gifts. Certainly not. These people. Some research has shown that these individuals are a lot more visual.
Okay. So
as learners, actually. And perhaps let's look at their upbringing. As we said last week, what value did their parents have in sentimental things, objects, baking, doing things, making things for their partner? That's
an interesting one as well, because sometimes I'm sure, and I've seen this happen actually, rather than spend quality time with a person or a child, so it doesn't have to be a lover, does it? Mm-hmm. You try and substitute what they really want, which is quality time, by buying them trinkets. And doesn't matter what the trinket is, what they really want is spend time. If the love language is wrong, then actually it can be used as a way of assuaging guilt or passing off love by buying objects, and that doesn't work.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point, because if you want the quality time or you want the physical touch and someone's giving you gifts, it feels like a cop-out. And that is because it is one of the easiest love languages to give and do for someone. So actually, luckily, if your partner's love language is gifts or give, and yours isn't, it doesn't take the emotional depth that some of the other love languages need to go and find something that they like, big or small. It doesn't need the money. So this is a good one to have if your partner is gifts.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just buy her some flowers and you're sorted. I like that.
Exactly. Well, think about what she likes as well. It does take the thought, or he, sorry.
Them. I think you're supposed to say them nowadays, aren't you?
They.
Whatever it is, they.
We.
There's a whole episode in that. I'll just start digging. Yeah.
We should do. We'll do that actually. We'll do that for they or them and everyone. It's a really important topic. But also, I would say to individuals who struggle to see the importance of gifts being a love language, this is an investment into your relationship and your love.
That's very well put. So it's an investment. It's not a spend. It's an investment.
It's an investment.
Yes. So you get it back. Okay. So here's a question then. How could somebody who is watching this tell that their partner's love language is in the gift space if theirs isn't? What are the telltale signs to look out for?
Telltale signs? Good question. Firstly, do they collect lots of items from traveling, from work, from trips, from going places? Are they quite sentimental? Also, do they buy you small things? Do they leave notes? Do they want to bake? Do they pick up, I saw this at the shop and I thought of you? Obvious signs.
I suppose it depends what they bring and what they thought, doesn't it? But yes. So you should...
No cereal talk.
No, we're not talking about cereal. Check the vocabulary. I'll stick a link in the comments. So it's, as you say, it's probably one of the easiest ones, so long as you pick up on the signals. I mean, I know it isn't one of my languages, and frankly, I get irritated when people buy me loads of crap. But the point is, the person buying it, it's what they think, isn't it? Not necessarily just what you think. You know, it's sometimes there can be a mismatch in the language, speaking different languages. Are there dialects of this as well? Most of the other ones are dialects, aren't there? Have we got a dialect analogy for this?
I think the difference in the sentimental value of gifts, or the sort of, if someone likes to collect things that bring them back to a memory or a time, or if someone really appreciates the kind of off the cuff, I was walking past this and thought of you, that would be a different dialect. Also, if you hold the love language of gifts and your partner doesn't, it can be awkward for them to receive gifts. So perhaps if they really, really find the gift part difficult, don't give them gifts in front of people.
Yeah,
do things alone and be sensitive around that.
Yes, just what I always wanted, a fridge magnet. Yeah.
Those fridge magnets.
I'm dropping hints because I haven't got any fridge magnets, so I'll leave my address and I'll be inundated with fridge magnets.
So if I find, okay, let's have a task then. Let's go out and find a fridge magnet that we think each other would like.
Okay, we'll do that.
Deal. And we'll show it for next time.
We'll show it for next time, yes. But bearing in mind it's a family show, or at least, actually, no, it isn't a family show. Sod it. It doesn't matter.
This is
So
a couple's show.
So
no,
I was going to say anything that we've missed. I think we've covered most angles, haven't we? Anything that we've missed particularly? Right, let's throw it open. Anybody who has this as their language, if not now, later, stick that in the comments and say what's their favorite gift. What was their favorite expression? Is it flowers? Is it fridge magnets?
Yeah.
Could be beer. Somebody bought. Somebody sent me a voucher for a shed load of beer this week, and that is very well received. I'm perfectly capable of buying beer, but the fact that he tailored the fact that he knows I like beer rather than just sending the same amount of money really meant something, because it's someone taking time, isn't it? And it was a very well matched gift, which I'm grateful.
And that's where it comes into lots of relationships, all different kinds of relationships, not just romantic ones. And this is also where culturally gifts can be really important. I think we mentioned before when we were talking about it that this love language transcends all cultural barriers.
Well, certainly in Japan, where I worked for a while, there's a lot of, and probably China to a lesser extent, I'm not sure, spent more time in Japan than China. There's a protocol around giving gifts. So you wouldn't turn up to a business meeting with an important prospect without bringing a gift. And there's unwritten rules. And this is the problem with a lot of this stuff. And maybe it's the same in our culture, is there isn't a guidebook that you can go to and be sure that you're not going to embarrass them by giving them too much, or embarrass yourself by turning up to see Chairman of Toyota with a Prius fridge magnet. There's a lot of scope for messing it up, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. The embarrassment side of things, and just taking it the wrong way. But also the other side to that is that the traditions kind of act as a service. We traditionally had the giving and receiving of vows, and then the exchanging of rings. So gifts is really, really historical and traditional across all cultures and religions. So it's a really misunderstood one.
Yeah, and a minefield of getting it wrong. It's one reason, actually, in our family, fairly recently, I think to get around that, we just say, right, no one spends more than a tenner on presents at Christmas. And that way, you've got to think about it, because to get something for a tenner, particularly in London, you got to think about it. You could make something. So I was talking to a lady today, I won't mention names, but she and her husband exchanged homemade gifts recently. And that meant a lot more to them, I'm sure, than many of the things earlier on in their marriage, which were, I suspect, very much more expensive. But the fact of just taking some time to make something for each other, I think it's quite beautiful, actually. People should do more of that. Yeah,
absolutely. I think a lot of people do the Secret Santa now, don't they? Have a budget, and then they're giving it to someone, and you don't know who's giving it to you. And for me personally, I find that really exciting. But some people find that absolutely horrifying, because they're so embarrassed and they don't know what they're going to receive. It's quite funny. Another thing to note, actually, is, and it'd be interesting to hear if people that hold this love language prefer the giving of gifts to receiving, because there are people that get really, really excited about thinking about the gift that they can give to someone. I really like picking cards for people and thinking, is this what they'd like? This is funny for them. I just find I could be in there for hours. So there's a part of that that's the giving of gifts. So the other dialect would be, is there a much stronger side of the giving and the receiving?
That's true. Yeah, an asymmetry, indeed. Right.
Indeed.
Well, look, I tell you what, we've been going for 20 odd minutes now, and we have a gift in the fridge of a bottle of something cold. So I reckon we should probably call it a night and exchange gifts of an alcoholic beverage nature. What do you reckon?
I'll be round in 10.
Fantastic.
Get the bubbles out.
And we should also say what we're going to do next week. What have we got? Any love languages left? Have we got any more left? We haven't done the physical one. We haven't done physical.
We haven't
Should we do that one?
Would you like to do that one next?
Is there a natural order to this stuff?
I mean, we're kind of doing our own order. We could do quality time.
Let's do quality time next week. We'll do that, and then we'll end with a bang and do physical touch, shall we? Very last one. Bang. And then we also need to think about other things that we can talk about, because we would have done the 5, but we've got we could do attachment styles. We could do, and then we can get on to the more adult
styles. And we also said before how the love languages aren't just romantic relationships, how we can adopt it into all different aspects of life and work, and also this LGBT. I can't speak.
What's that? The lesbian. Oh, lesbian. I, there is an acronym, isn't there?
No, there is. It's LGBT plus Q, or Q plus, which I still, even though I'm in this field, can get it wrong, and that's because I'm human and I also can't speak. And I think it's a really important topic for us to cover. Yeah,
we'll do that. And yeah, there's loads of stuff. Maybe, I don't know, let's think about this, but at some stage maybe we get a guest on or something, or we invite people to join us, although quite how I'll manage to make that work on StreamYard, I don't know. I have to work that out. But yeah, perhaps we can bring some people in as well. With that, thank you very much, Alice. Thank you very much for everybody's attention. Feedback in the comments welcomed. Fridge magnets gratefully accepted. And we'll just say lots of love. Talk to you again soon. Bye for now.